If it's the first time you're being on this channel, I'm what you need. You're watching my channel. I hope that you guys are doing well. If you want to donate to my channel, you just have to check the link down below in the comment section, and I will put my PayPal there so you can donate to the channel. If you like what you're seeing, you can like, share, subscribe. Let's get into it. So I'm not here to do the prediction video. I predicted this fight already a while back, but I was watching at the top rank feature, Blood, Sweat, and Tears, and I thought, you know what? Let me comment on that. Um, there were some gems that were handed out today. A couple of gems, and even in the Boxing Hall of Fame, which I will be doing a video on that shortly. Um, there were some gems that were given out, and I just want to talk a little bit about, you know, becoming a champion, what that means, and why some people, I even heard Devin Haney talking along these lines, why some people are not content with just being a champion. So, one of the goals in boxing is to become a champion if you haven't become one. And a lot of fighters have that, but there are the special few fighters who are not content with that. Um, they're 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 content with being the best that they could possibly be, and you know, it's not just about being in the top spot, but staying there. So, in Blood, Sweat, and Tears, we saw a little bit of background into Joe Smith Jr. and where he came from, who trains him, uh, um, his attitude, his mentality. And then we had Artur Beterbiev and his background and his mentality. So I want to talk a little bit about the mentality of the fighters. Artur Beterbiev is thirsty for knowledge. He's thirsty to improve himself. He's internally motivated. You don't have to tell him to come train. You don't have to tell him none of those things. He'll be there. And he is an all-round fighter, as you know. He has Olympic pedigree. He's a world-class pedigree. And he's not just a puncher. He's not just a mauler. He is a boxer. He can box. Joe Smith Jr. is more of a sort of, it's kind of, he's a puncher. That's what he is, to be honest with you. He's kind of getting his boxing together, but he's more of a puncher. And Joe Smith Jr. came to prominence when he beat Bernard Hopkins in Bernard Hopkins' last fight. Uh, One of the revealing things that Joe Smith Jr. said is, he's counting on catching Artur Beterbiev with one of his, strong punches. His right hand is his major weapon, and that's what he's going to be using. And his goal is to hurt Artur Beterbiev, is to catch him with something. And in short, what Joe Smith Jr. is going for is having a puncher's chance. Now, some guys, their puncher's chance is greater than other guys. Like, for instance, Deontay Wilder. He's a puncher, as puncher as you can be. And this whole thing's to set up the KO and to knock you out, right? Get you out of there. Doesn't care if it's up on rounds or not. He's looking for his shot. And, with him, the puncher's chance is a little bit higher. He's a one-punch knockout artist. But if that's your attitude, is to count on, getting that punch in and knocking a guy out, as Shakur Stevenson said, and as Devin Haney will tell you, if you're just giving, certain fighters, if if you're saying that a guy's a pure puncher and you gotta be sharp and alert all 12 rounds and blah 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 blah, yada 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 yada. It's bullshit. Bullshit. Basically, Shakur Stevens says, if all you got is a puncher's chance, all you got is trying to land something big on me, you ain't got no chance in hell of beating me. You already lost. And I did a lot of videos, and I even talked in different groups about this. I listened to people talk about, I'm going to go back to Floyd Mayweather because, that's the gold standard of boxing. And I'm talking boxing. I'm not even talking about income and revenue and all the stuff he talked about. I'm talking boxing. And Floyd Mayweather Jr., people say, Sugar Ray Leonard would knock Floyd Mayweather Jr. out. You know, Thomas Hearns would knock Floyd Mayweather Jr. out. And I said it in groups. I've even said it online here. If your attitude is to come in there to try to knock a fighter like Floyd or Shakur or Devin Haney out, if your attitude is that, I'm not saying, because we're talking about mentality. If your attitude is to get a punch in and land your money punch on these guys, you already lost the fight. You already lost the fight. You're going to play right into their hands. I heard Sugar Ray Leonard say how he would knock Floyd Mayweather Jr. out. And he's a smart fighter, But if Sugar Ray Leonard were to try to follow up on that, and the chaos in his mind, he already lost the fight. You already lost the fight. Guys like Devin Haney, Shakur Stevenson, Floyd Mayweather, Pernell Whitaker, Charlie Burley, James Toney, Mike McCallum. These are defensive wizards. Defensive wizards. Okay? You're not knocking these guys out. 1. 2. You already lost the fight. Thinking like that. Okay? Because you've just taken all your skills, all your abilities, and you put yourself into a category with the wrong game plan, so you only got a puncher's chance. You only got a puncher's chance. That's what you just said. Basically what these guys are saying is, I only have a puncher's chance of beating these guys. So when I heard Joe Smith Jr. say, words to the effect of, if I can land my money punch on him, if I can get my money, I'm like, ninja. That only works for a certain level of fighter. The top level fighter, I don't care how much of a dog you think you are. I don't care how much, you think, you can outman and outpower a guy, right? I don't care. I don't care what school of boxing you came from. I don't care if you're Sugar Ray fucking Robinson. You're not knocking these guys out. You're going to lose the fight. Why? Because in boxing, you play into these guys' hands when you go looking for them. Their whole skill set is entirely built upon guys chasing them down to stop them. Okay? When you have an all-rounded fighter like Andre Ward, I forgot Andre Ward. How can I forget? Andre Ward, Floyd Mayweather. I don't give a fuck what you say. You're not knocking them out. And if you catch them with one shot, you're not gonna get it. You're not gonna get another chance. Shane Mosley versus Floyd Mayweather. The famous second round. Shane Mosley catches Floyd twice. The entire motherfucking fight, right? Twice. It was in the second round. Caught him with a beautiful, he set him up. Because Floyd was walking, not really respecting Mosley's power. Walking him down. And he was out of position. And Mosley feinted to the body. He actually threw a left to the body to get Floyd to pull his arms down, block that. And he caught him sharp. I mean, he caught him beautifully with his money punch on top. Mosley hit Floyd with everything and the kitchen sink. He hit him with a money shot. I mean, he rocked that motherfucker, okay? Put everything behind it. All his weight behind that shot. It was a fucking phenomenal shot. Floyd clinched him. Mosley tried to ring Floyd free. Couldn't get him off of him, right? Floyd took that shot. Puncher's chance. Let's talk about it. Puncher's chance. This is what Joe Smith Jr. is supposed to have against Artur Beterbiev. You look at after Mosley rocked him, he not just got one chance, he got a second chance. Floyd's walking him down. Okay? Mosley's in position. Floyd's walking down Mosley. Let me say that again. Let me rewind that because y'all not listening. Listen to me carefully. He hurt him with the first shot. How did he hurt him? Floyd was walking him down. Listen to me. If you're not paying attention, listen to me now. Floyd's still walking down Mosley. Mosley is being, he takes a couple steps back. Floyd's coming to him. Mosley throws a jab. Floyd throws his jab back. Mosley, I believe he steps back or something like that. And Floyd closes the gap on him and then throws a left hook. And at that same moment, Mosley throws his right hook. And Floyd's in the act of throwing the left hook. He's not coming back this way. He's going this way. So Mosley catches him with his right hook on Floyd's temple. Floyd ends up riding the punch somewhat so he doesn't get cleanly hit, right? Wobbles Floyd because Floyd already got rocked with the first right hand. He wobbles Floyd. What does Floyd do? Hands up. He's covering up everything. And he's right up on Mosley. He's right up on it. Mosley's trying to take a step back, and Floyd's just bodying him. He's right up on him, right? Mosley throws another right hand, hits the guard. Floyd's woozy, right? Because it hit him in the temple. Perfect shot. Just not flush enough because Floyd's riding it. He's woozy, right? But he's stepping to Mosley. He's walking. He's cramping him. He's not clinching. He's just right up on him, hands up, right up on him. Before the end of the round, Floyd's landing body shots on Mosley and is beating down Mosley. He's taking Mosley's heaviest punches. And Mosley can fucking punch. How do we know this? If there's one thing Mosley does really, really, really well, it's punch. We saw him stop Antonio Margarito with that right hand. We seen him make Miguel Cotto have spaghetti legs with that right hand. Cotto don't get spaghetti legs. Mosley made Cotto have spaghetti legs with that right hand. Hey, listen to me. If y'all don't realize that Mosley can punch, I mean, one of the heaviest punchers in boxing's history is Shane Mosley for his size. Mosley's a little bigger than Floyd. He's a little taller. He's a little longer. And he also campaigned at a higher weight class and became a champion at a higher weight class more than Floyd. He fought more at 154 than Floyd fought at 154. Floyd only fought 3 times at 154. Mosley actually campaigned at 154. Then he would be up at 154, down at 147. Okay, he would go between the 2 weight classes. So Mosley, so you guys get the picture of what I'm saying. Mosley's knocked out 154 pounders. Floyd has never knocked out a 154 pounder. Never. Mosley has knocked out cold, big 154 pounders. We're talking 154 pounders that went up to 160 afterwards. Mosley has knocked those guys out. That's how powerful Mosley can punch. Okay? Mosley's no joke. There's a reason they call him Sugar, after the great Sugar Ray Robinson. Okay? He's one of the Sugars. Okay? So, Floyd took those punches, didn't even go down. Buckled him. But he never went down. I want you to understand what I'm saying, because Mosley was teeing off on him, but he was blocking most of the shots, and then he started going down the center. Mosley emptied his biggest clip on Floyd, and Floyd wasn't even dropped. If you're counting on a puncher's chance, like Joe Smith Jr., if you are counting this, your meal ticket is a puncher's chance against Artur Beterbiev, Joe Smith Jr., you already lost the fight. You already lost the fight, bro. Mentality. I'm not done. Just beginning. Just warming up. Artur Beterbiev, his mentality, he is not satisfied that he is just a unified champion. At 37 years old, this man's 37 years old, hasn't taken a lot of punishment. Got Olympic pedigree, fought at super heavyweight, great Olympic pedigree, fought Alexander Usyk. I mean, better fighters than Joe Smith Jr. And yet this guy is still hungry to learn. He gets up early. You don't have to tell him nothing. He's self-motivated. Artur Beterbiev wants to grow every time, wants to learn so much. And that insatiable hunger to learn, to be better, that self-motivation, that drive, is what makes him what he is. Even at 37 years old. Willing to grow and develop. And that's impressive. That is impressive. Okay? And for that reason, because of the rigorous training and the regiment and the dedication and the hard work that Artur Beterbiev, and the hunger, the desire for knowledge, this man is constantly improving, and this man is constantly evolving. Artur Beterbiev. It is very difficult. Let me say it again. It is very difficult to beat a hungry fighter. And when I say hungry, I'm not just talking about hungry for success, hungry for what you have. He's hungry for the sport, to learn, to grow every single day. He hungers for that. I've seen it in Devin Haney as well. It is very hard to beat a fighter like that who's motivated inside. No matter how successful he is, it's not enough. Just keep it going. I want to grow. I want to learn. I want to learn. I want to grow. It's very hard to beat that fighter. The fight before this fight that's coming up, Artur Beterbiev, who's one of my favorite fighters, if you guys don't realize. Him, Dmitry Bivol, Stephen Fulton, and it's another fighter. Forgot his name. Oh, John Real Casimiro. These are fighters. Their personalities are all over the place. They have different personalities, but I like them as fighters. Today, those are my favorite fighters in boxing today. Right? Casimiro, Fulton, Bivol, and Beterbiev. Right? Those are my favorite fighters. And but I have a lot of respect for other fighters. I'm a fan of a lot of fighters. But those guys particularly I like. And I don't care if they win or lose. I'll always like them. Because there's just certain things about them I like. But more importantly, when I look at Artur Beterbiev, I see admirable qualities in him. And his mentality. And this is the thing that makes a winner. Okay? A winner doesn't sit on his ass and say, I won, and is looking for shortcuts. A winner likes challenges. A winner, though, the difference between a winner and a loser is the amount of work put into being a winner, into preparation to be a winner. And it's a routine. I was listening to, in the International Boxing Hall of Fame, I was listening to Bernard Hopkins. And if you look at Bernard Hopkins right now, today, the man is in impeccable shape. He said he's about 3 or 4 pounds off from the 175-pound limit. And he said how he conducts himself every day is a routine. And still goes for his runs, still does everything like an athlete because it is a lifestyle for him. It's a lifestyle for him. And if you look at Bernard Hopkins' career, um, it is the career of an overcomer who needed assistance along the way. And I'll talk about each and every one of the Hall of Fame speeches and what we can take from it, right? Because what I loved about these Hall of Famers who went up is they gave us something. Most of them gave us something, and I want to talk about that when I get time, because that event is once in a lifetime kind of event for all of us, because I don't think there'll be ever any time when the International Boxing Hall of Fame will have three classes inducted at this almost at the same time. Okay, so this trilogy was something that is very special. So I want to take my time and go through that. And each inductee, I have that stenciled out here, scheduled out here. So we'll go through the inductees. You know, I'm still trying to get some of the footage. I still haven't seen Ann Wolf's induction and her speech. I haven't seen anything from Ann Wolf. I was able to get that brief speech from Miguel Cotto, and Juan Manuel Marquez and so on. But I didn't get anything from Ann Wolf. I didn't get anything from the first black uh, licensed boxer, one of the first licensed black boxers, and so on. So I want to be able to get as much information as I can before I really go into that. But mentality. Now, Bernard Hopkins is an overcomer. What I mean by that is, he was able to come back from losing his pro debut. He lost his first fight, and he was able to also overcome many, slight setbacks and obstacles. We look at it as slight setbacks now, but at the time, probably not. It's probably, excuse me, something big for him, And I want to get into that, but what he was speaking about was routine. Having a routine, the correct lifestyle, and not stopping it because you finished your pro career. You just gotta let yourself go, and you're not in shape or anything, right? It should be a lifestyle that you keep on using because it's a healthy lifestyle and it's a healthy thing to do. So he still does a lot of the things he did as a pro boxer and when he was in prison and so on. And I didn't know that Bernard Hopkins was a Muslim. And so I noticed that there's a lot of Muslims in boxing. Artur Beterbiev is also a Muslim. And Artur Beterbiev pretty much said pretty much the same thing that Bernard Hopkins said, that boxing is just a part of your life. And then when it's done, you need to still have principles and stuff that you abide by, like what you used to be successful in boxing, that would guide you through the rest of your life. And so it's interesting to hear Bernard Hopkins and Artur Beterbiev kind of say basically the same thing. A Hall of Famer, and that gave the Hall of Famer his longevity. A lot of people always say Bernard Hopkins used performance-enhancing drugs. It's not true at all, because here is Bernard Hopkins, and he doesn't look like he's aged a day, except for this hair on his face. He doesn't look like he aged a day, and he's still in impeccable shape, and own reasons because he's lived a healthy lifestyle. And the same thing with Floyd Mayweather. If you look at Floyd Mayweather, the man has muscles all up in his arms. He's in impeccable shape. Still to this day, this motherfucker is in impeccable shape. Shout out to Floyd Mayweather. And I just say, it's a lifestyle. And you continue that lifestyle of staying in shape, continue running every day, no matter what's happening. You run, you exercise, you train, you try to eat as healthy as possible. And you're going to live a healthy lifestyle. And I can tell you, I'm 47 years old, and I can still jump over walls. I can still, run. I took a jog and I ran all the way to the nearest supermarket that's near to me, the nearest mall. It's about 2-3 miles away, and I actually ran it. I just picked up and ran that really easily because, once again, I eat healthy, You know, I get my rest, um, and I'm always, I try to stay active as possible. I mean, the last couple of days I've been indoors because it's been raining a lot. But suffice it to say, keeping your mind mentally active, keeping your body mentally active, it really helps a lot. So, um, there's nothing quite like that. I'm mostly a vegan. Okay, I don't really use milk products, and I don't really eat meat. Okay, I grew up as a vegetarian anyway, so it's not that big a deal. And what happens is my weight fluctuates between I think I'm between 145 and right now I'm between 145 and probably 170. It goes up and down, up and down, up and down. It depends on, and the thing with me is if I eat something, I'm ready to go to the bathroom and let out something. So my body's really well balanced. So it's one of those things where when you take care of your body, you know, 47 is not old. The problems that some people have at 47, I don't have them. And that's because I've been using my joints. I've kind of, I know how to treat my ligaments. I know how to straighten out my body, my back and stuff. My eyesight's kind of faded off. I'm actually supposed to be short-sighted. My eyesight's much better, and because I'm using a book. I probably share that book with you guys, how to get perfect vision without glasses. So all of that's kind of improved, but even so, I know my eyesight's much improved from what it used to be, but still at the same time, I need to do more eye exercise because I stopped doing it. The key in everything in life is consistency. This is the key I'm trying to say. So once you've established a certain routine, and you more or less hold fast to that routine, you're able to do these remarkable things. And Bernard Hopkins is a living testimony of that. Mayweather is a living testimony of that. Andrew Ward is a living testimony, and so on and so on and so on, right? So, but the point is, Artur Beterbiev, you know, Artur, it's Beterbiev really is his name. Artur Beterbiev, he typifies, he exemplifies that. Now, some people say, well, how come Artur Beterbiev, he could be facing Joe Smith Jr.? Well, Artur Beterbiev is actually a resident of Canada. So he's also a citizen of Canada. He's not just a citizen of Russia. So as a result, Artur Beterbiev, he's going to be in good stead. He'd be all right, And we'll go into some other things which have to do with what Vladimir Klitschko said to Roy Jones Jr., which, again, Roy Jones Jr. ain't got nothing to do with that. Like, Roy Jones Jr. is not a Putin supporter or anything. He doesn't get himself involved in politics. He's just doing his business over in Russia, and he has students over in Russia that he actually mentors and takes care of and stuff like that, and he's not able to go across there right now. So you got to understand, Roy is not really politically involved in Russia. Even though he's a Russian citizen, which is good for him, he was just trying to do business across there. Okay, he's not trying to get himself politically involved. He's just there to inspire people with the boxing, So I hope Vladimir Klitschko understands that and not take it personally with Roy. And of course, Roy has friends on both sides of the problem. And the thing about it is that if I were to say anything, and I hope that Alexander Usyk and Vasily Lomachenko, if they ever get an opportunity to face to fight an actual fight outside of the Ukraine, would bring to people's attention that political issue, because it is an issue that is affecting them, and how people can help the situation. How could the common person, bring some light on this issue? And let me just say, in passing, I know this has nothing to do with it. It's just Joe Smith-Jr. but Artur Beterbiev is actually a citizen of Russia, so that's why I'm actually talking about this. Is that we as people need to say, no, Russia should not be in the Ukraine right now. There is no rationale for why Russia should be in the Ukraine. We must speak up about it. We, as the world population, the average citizen, must say, hey, Russia needs to get out of the Ukraine, get out tomorrow. That's a war crime. We're not going to punish Russia for that, but definitely Vladimir Putin, since it's his initiative, should be penalized for that, and somebody needs to go, arrest this man whenever possible, because it's a violation of international law. It's a war crime. It's just wrong. What he's doing is just strongman tactics, and somebody needs to put this man in order. To be honest with you, even if it's his own people, it's their own Russian people that have to overthrow him to stop this from happening, so that he can stop the war. then do it, because this guy is he's running loose. He's running like a renegade. He's moving just like those strongmen. We were worried about Kim Jong Un. Now we got this dude. You know what I mean? Running renegade. You can't be doing that. You know, and the thing about it is, Russia is a country that used to supply the world with oil and stuff, and you know, of course, they have trade embargoes on Russia, um, and Russia was supplying Europe with oil, and they were doing so many things. Like, Russia is one of our closest allies in the Western world to the Eastern world, but unfortunately now that trust is violated by a leader of Russia. It's not the Russian people. I have nothing against the Russian people. It is this guy who wants to hold on to the reins of power because he knows his days are numbered, because he knows he already violated international law, and now he goes back and he violates international law again. So he did it the first time, and under President Barack Obama, they were trying to get him for war crimes, and now he did it again. Okay? It's not the Russian people. I don't blame the Russian people for this. I don't even blame the Russian soldiers who are right now in war right now for this. And a lot of them have died. I don't blame them. I blame this idiot, this political idiot who right now he's trying to force his way on an independent sovereign state, which the world should not just stand by and just allow that to happen. I personally believe if you got the firepower and all these things, you need to just step in and say, no, you don't do that. Step back. You know what I mean? The world needs to say no. Now the Ukraine has to, they can't be alone and they, of course they're supplying arms and all kinds of things to the Ukraine to beat back Russia, and probably special forces are in there from different countries. But my point is anyway, that Russia is that move that Putin has made is making Russia look bad in the world, you know, in the world scene, and especially with the drug abuse and drug uses that certain Russians have had. It looks bad, but Russia still is, there's the positive light at the end of the tunnel, especially in sports, like Bevo. You gotta love Bevo, man. If you don't love Bevo, I don't know what to say. He's one of my favorite boxers, and Beterbiev, okay? And they just happen to be Russian. But I like them. I like them a lot. You know, it's almost the paradox to the thing. But I know people are people all over the world. I know Russian people are cool. Even Sergei Kovalov is a cool dude. You know what I'm saying? Comes from a poor town, etc., etc. You know, worked his way out. You know, made himself money. You know, helped his family. Be well and everything. You got to look at that and you got to admire that. You know what I'm saying? You have to admire that. So I just think that I'm not against Russia. You know, the people of Russia. I am against the politics. I am against the stupidity of a leader who should be removed from power. He's not supposed to be there. It's kind of like talking about, I don't want to mention the guy's name, you know, in the United States of America, that asshole, you know, just remove that guy from power. You know what I mean? So he was removed from power. He tried to form a coup. You know, this is the kind of people that we're talking about. So, the quicker they can get rid of Putin and either throw him in prison and throw away the key, or just get him out of Russia and exile him or something, the better. Okay? But that is not a reflection of Roy Jones Jr. I hope that Vladimir Klitschko can see that. I understand the dire state that they're in. I know how tremendously this is just not right. In so many ways, this is just wrong, what is happening to them. I don't give a flying hell what's going on inside of their state or their country. You don't violate a country's sovereignty, because you feel or you got intel that they're doing X, Y, and Z. I really couldn't give a damn. It's their sovereignty. It's like trying to just break down the door of your neighbor's house and just barge into their house because you feel they have some gun or something they're set up to shoot you. Fuck out of here with that shit. So anyway, that's what I got to say about that. So the mentality of Beterbiev, I believe, is one in which I think that Beterbiev, that mentality, I hope that we could take this from these guys, because it's about the knowledge, it's a quest to be better at whatever you're doing. The relentless pursuit of elevating oneself and getting better and better and better and better. And that's what basically, you look at elite boxers, they're not satisfied with what they're doing at present. They're always working on stuff, you know? And when you have, you know, that's the winning mentality. You know, even Bernard Hopkins has a winning mentality, obviously. You know, I call him an overcomer, but he's a winner, you know? And some people, they end up with losses and stuff for various reasons, right? They don't start the same way, but then they get on this winning streak because their mentality and just the winning mentality. I want to get people to understand. People talk about fighters who hate to lose. Well, Mayweather, while he did lose in the Olympics, and he didn't ever want to have to experience that again, and that might have been part of his motivation, I truly believe his mentality, even if you look at Mayweather's mentality, even to this day, his mentality is one in which he's seeking to win. He's seeking to win. Whatever he's doing. Right? It's not about he's thinking about losing out. Of course, as with anybody, you learn from seeing other people lose what not to do or what to do. And, you know, you're not going out there seeking to lose, of course. But also, in addition, you're watching all the caveats and all the warnings and all the things so you can navigate your pathway to win. You dig what I'm saying? So it's not like, when we say you have a winning mentality, it's not like you're just blindly, all right, I'm going to win, and you're working towards that. No, you're watching also at all the shortcomings of other people, and you're learning from those experiences, right? Because you don't have to learn from your shortcomings and your own experience. You can learn from other people, right? So you're learning from that, and you're navigating the way through so you can be successful at what you do, right? I still want to see Roy Jones Jr., for example, against Anderson Silva. Even more so now, seeing that Anderson Silva, he's held his own in boxing. And, you know, I always feel like the time for that to happen, this may be the rightest time for that to happen. And I think that's a good exhibition fight, Roy versus Anderson. It actually would be tougher than you think. But I think Roy versus Anderson Silva, I think that'll be a hell of a fight. Hell of a fight. And I think Roy will take it. I think he'd take it. I think you take it, but I really enjoy watching that Blood, Sweat, and Tears, and you know, seeing what Artur Beterbiev is focused on. You know, because like I said before, and I'll say it again, Shane Mosley hit Floyd with a right from fucking hell. Okay. He lit him up with a right hand from hell. And did absolutely nothing to him in the long run. After that, Floyd beat his ass up. And the point is not that Mosley, you know, Mosley's a hell of a fighter. Always has been, right? You know, I listen to people say, well, what would have happened if Mosley was a little bit younger? Nothing. Would have changed the situation, because Floyd clinched him up. There's nothing he could do. You don't have free hands to do everything. And then Floyd started walking him down, put pressure on him. I was walking him down the entire fight. And Mosley... So, if you want to get power in your shot, you got to arc the shot. Okay? You got to arc the shot. Okay? So Mosley, he wings shots. He throws shots like this. Okay? Okay? He arcs his shot. Floyd, on the other hand, shoots the shot straight. It's a straight shot. Straight. Okay? Straight shot. Straight. Now, if I'm looping my shot, okay? If I'm looping my shot, guess what'll happen? Guess what'll happen? Who gets there first? The straight shooter. Right? 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 Straight shooter. So, the three guys that beat Shane Mosley, two guys beat Shane Mosley before Shane Mosley faced Floyd. It was Vernon Forrest and Winky Wright. He had 4 losses because he faced 2 guys, and they twice beat him. Why did they beat him? They were able to beat him to the punch. Fernand Forrest had a nice long jab. Okay? Had a nice long jab. Okay? Winky right. Got that peekaboo. Right? And a nice short jab. He was southpaw. So, boom. Shoop. Shoop. Right? So if you think about it, straight shots beat Mosley to the punch. Now Mosley was also a good jabber. Didn't jab as much as Oscar, but he was a good jabber when he did jab. But Mosley, while he has good lateral movement and all of that, Mosley didn't have as good a timing and not as precise and sharp as Floyd was. And Floyd could set traps to bait Mosley's jab so he could counter Mosley's jab, which you saw him doing repeatedly. And then, once again, you can box in front of a guy. There's so many things you can do. You're not really standing perfectly in front of the guy. You're actually sidestepping the guy and then throwing your punches. But the point is, there's just so much clever stuff you can do while you're in the pocket, so that you're never directly in front of the person, and you're shooting your shots. That's why you don't have to use the whole entire ring. You could stay right in the center of the ring, in front of a guy, but not be in front of him. You could stick a move right in front of a guy, sort of like. He's not right in front of him, but you know what I mean. You're in the pocket with him, you know. And there's just so many little tricks of the trade. You know, Cuban schoolboy boxing uses some of those tricks. Of course, the Midwest is known for some of the most elaborate things when it comes to boxing. Anyways, so I'm just going to leave it right there. Artur Beterbiev versus Joe Smith Jr. I already gave my prediction. If you guys don't know what the prediction is, go back and watch it. It was about a week or so later. You can just go in my things. I gave the prediction. I just wanted to talk about the mentality of the fighters. See, if you count on a punch or two or three to knock out a fighter, you're not going to knock out the fighter. You know, a lot of guys like to say they go into the body, but if a guy protects his body very well, what are you actually doing? How are you going to go to the body? How are you going to go to the body? The guy protects his body, bro. So it's not that easy to get a knockout. All right, even as you saw, Deontay Wilder could not knock out Tyson Fury. Right, he couldn't. Couldn't knock out Bermane Stiverne the first time either. You know, so if you're banking on knocking out a guy and you say I would knock you out, first of all, Joe Smith Jr. Yeah, he got a good right hand, but how many guys has he really knocked out? He knocked down one or two, but how many guys has he really knocked out? Top tier guys. Right? So banking on that power is where a lot of these guys go fall short. Another thing is thinking that because you're the bigger guy, you're going to be able to knock out the smaller guy. It's stupid. It's stupid. I listened to several people when they were talking about Mayweather versus, say, a Hearns or a Duran or a Leonard, right? And saying those guys are bigger and they moved up in weight. But bigger doesn't mean shit in boxing. Okay? Bigger doesn't mean shit in boxing. Devin Haney's a bigger fighter than Tank. Does that mean that Tank won't use his size to get under the punches, get to the inside, and beat up Devin Haney? Listen. When you look at the track record of certain fighters, whether it's Dimitri Bivol, who's a smaller guy than most of the light heavyweights out there, or Canelo, who's a guy that came up in weight to the 168 pounders, and we talking about some big 168 pounders, like Callum Smith, was a big 168 pounder. When you look at Tank moving up from 130, fighting Mario Barrios. On 135, he just fought Riley Romero, who's much bigger than him, right? Size don't mean shit if you don't know how to use it, first of all. Second of all, no matter how much of a puncher you think you are, you cannot rely on your power. You have to rely on your skills. That's where Thomas Hearns fell short. He always felt he could bully people and walk them down with his height and his size. He's a very aggressive fighter, stay behind the jab and everything, but you aggressive, too aggressive sometimes. You know, when you look at Duran and how Benitez said, oh, what he basically do, he like to break down the body. He like to go to the body, you know, and then he thinks he can take you out right ahead. And he said, I'm going to teach him. This is what Benitez actually said. He said, I'm going to teach him boxing because I'm Mr. Boxing. And he outboxed him, right? Hardly got him to his body. Again, sidestepped him a lot. And Duran just doesn't know how to do that. You have to be, like Benitez said, you have to stand directly in front of Duran for Duran to do what he do. If you are moving, unless you're Bizarro who's running away from it, but if you are using your boxing skills and footwork to sidestep him and stuff, he can't do shit. He can't do shit with you. It's true. And, you know, Duran had a lot of power and everything. He did knock out Benitez, and Benitez got knocked out by different guys. You know what I mean? He got knocked out by different guys because, you know, Duran never really had a great jab. He had a baiting jab. He didn't really have a great jab, you know. And so because of that, Duran wasn't able to stop Benitez. Whereas Davey Moore was able to stop Benitez. Sugar Ray Leonard was able to stop Benitez because both of those guys had good jabs. Now, even though Floyd, being a good jabber is an important thing with Floyd, you can't just depend on your jab to beat Floyd. You know, the jab alone won't do it. In fact, if you don't watch yourself, he takes away your jab, right? And the key here is this, which is what I think a lot of people don't understand. It's that you can't just pressure Floyd. It's never going to work. You cannot just pressure the guy. You have to bait him in. You have to make him come to you. This is when a lot of guys hit Floyd. Now, the other thing you got to understand, with not just Floyd, but with guys like Beterbiev and Andre Ward and guys like Pernell Whitaker, etc., 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 okay? What you have to understand with these elite fighters is they have elite chins, okay? You ain't going to just knock out fucking Floyd Mayweather. No matter what you think, he got as hard and as tough, probably a tougher chin than fucking Artur Beterbiev per weight class. Okay? Because Beterbiev has been dropped by a hard punch. He dropped on his ass. And groggy. He got back up groggy and shit. Head spinning and shit. Okay? That's never happened to Floyd. He has never, ever had his ass taste the canvas from a punch and get back up groggy. He's never. And I mean, the most ferocious punchers have punched him. Okay? But back to Beterbiev, because this is what we're talking about. So my point is, if you think you're going to hit him with a lucky shot or some kind of fucking set-up shot, and you're going to hurt him and you're going to finish him, you got another thing coming. These guys are not going to get finished like that. Besides that, certain elite fighters at least, not all of them, because Tony Harrison didn't know what the fuck to do, but certain elite fighters like Floyd, and just think of an elite fighter who has decent defense. Danny Garcia. You could see anybody knocking out Danny Garcia. Motherfucker got a chin from hell. He got rock solid chin. You would knock Danny Garcia out on his feet, and he gonna come back to life and keep fighting. Okay? You gonna knock out Tyson Fury? Fuck no. You're not knocking out Tyson Fury. He's just one of those guys that cannot be knocked out. Okay? And he actually failed. Danny Garcia's never been dropped. Canelo Alvarez has never been dropped. I want you to understand the kind of fighters we're talking about, right? These are guys that dedicate themselves to the sport of boxing. Danny Garcia's never been knocked out. Canelo Alvarez has never been knocked out or dropped. Neither guy. Floyd Mayweather's never been knocked out officially or dropped officially. He's kind of, his glove touched the canvas against Zab Judah. That's it. Right? And he has an official knockdown because he broke his knuckles on Carlos Hernandez's head. and he dropped on the ground because his hands was hurting him. Okay, he's never been knocked down. Okay, what I'm trying to explain to you guys is these motherfuckers have chins. Just because they're not letting their chins be tested all the time because they got skills and they fight clean doesn't mean these motherfuckers don't have chins. Ron Sizzle says, let's be honest, Smith always been the underdog his whole career. Yeah. Hold on a second. Don't forget to smash that like button, Ron Sizzle. Won a lot of money off of Joe. This fight, Joe's been waiting, I tell you. It will not be pretty. Yeah, it definitely won't be pretty, bro. Don't bet on Joe. I already did my prediction of this video. This is going to be, like you said, it's not going to be pretty. It's going to be ugly. It's going to be very ugly because Artur Beterbiev, you know, skill-wise, he's way above Joe Smith Jr. I know Joe can take a lot of punishment and he can take a lot of punches, but this is not one of those fights you want to be taking punishment. You know what I mean? Beterbiev, in the fight before that, Marcus Brown, who's a professional headbutter, okay, but Artur Beterbiev and bust a gash in his face, and Beterbiev knew he had to take it up, and he got that guy out of there in 6 rounds. He punished him. And Beterbiev is a guy who will punish you. You know, you are going to get stopped from attrition. You know, I remember there was a fight, Top Rank on ESPN, and fucking Beterbiev beat this guy up for 12 rounds. Guy valiantly fought back. And at the last second of the 12th round, he knocked the guy senselessly out. Okay, Beterbiev is a dude that's been a super heavyweight. I'm telling you right now, I like Joe Smith Jr., overcomer and all of this, and has always been the underdog, but he about to get fucked up bad. No disrespect to nobody, but he about to get fucked up. You understand what I'm saying? He gonna get fucked up from round 1 to as long as this fight lasts. It could go to 12 rounds, but he about to get. Let me just say it again, so you will understand. And I'm not even trying to. I'm not even trying to like be, I'm not trying to be biased or anything. But this is what's going to happen, okay? He going to get fucked up. He takes too many punches. He takes too much punishment. I know he's a guy, he won't quit. Even if he gets knocked down, he's going to keep on fighting. But this is not one of those fights where you want to be taking that punishment. Because I'm telling you, he's going to have to go to the hospital after this fight. He's going to get fucked up. You understand? And if he's too brave for his own good and his corner doesn't throw in the towel, Artur Beterbiev can kill him. He could die in that ring from head trauma. Okay? So, I'm letting y'all know, this is not no fucking joke. Beterbiev is not a joke. Okay? There's a certain kind of fighter that can outbox him, but Joe Smith Jr. is not that fighter. And if you're going head to head against Beterbiev, and you want to go power for power, he got good defense, so he's not going to take that kind of punishment that Joe Smith Jr. will be taking. And I'm telling you, he about to get fucked up. You see how many times I said this, right? Ain't cool to take punishment, ladies and gentlemen. It is not cool to take punishment. Let me say it again. It's not cool to take punishment. And I know it's a 37-year-old Artur Beterbiev. He's old as hell. But it ain't cool to take punishment. Okay? So, I know people have counted out Joe Smith Jr. a number of times, but there's a blueprint on how to beat him. It's out there. And the problem with Joe Smith Jr. is he takes too much punishment to the head particularly. And Artur Beterbiev also goes to your body. And I'm telling you, this guy is not making it to 12. He's not making it through 12 rounds. He's not going to make it to the end. Joe Smith Jr. is going to succumb to the tremendous damage that Artur Beterbiev will put on him He's going to take a beating that, I mean, it's going to be a bad beating. A bad, 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 bad beating. He about to get fucked up. I hate saying it like that, but I just want you to understand, right? This is not a competitive fight. This is going to be a one-sided beatdown. I've said this now for, I believe I said it for, how many fights have I said this for? I said this for a couple fights, right? I said this for Shakur versus Oscar Valdez. I said this for Devin Haney versus George Kambosos. I'm going to tell you a competitive fight. You guys want to see a competitive fight. It won't be a one-sided beatdown. It's going to be Errol Spence versus Terrence Crawford. That's a fight I can't call. I don't know who's going to win. Even though I've seen more from Terrence. Terrence can do all kinds of things in that ring. And less from Errol. I still don't know what Errol has hidden away somewhere. And I know Errol's really great at pivoting. So, I have to see that fight. I can't really make a prediction to tell you who will win. You know, I've seen more of Terrence. I think Terrence could pull it off. But, so I have an idea of how Terrence could win. But to say that I've seen all of what Errol can do, I don't know. And Errol will have to pull out a lot more stops. If he's just going to try and pressure Terrence and bring relentless pressure, I think he's going to lose the fight. But if he's bringing some sort of thing, he's making adjustments, and you know he sidesteps and he uses all his footwork and everything, it's going to be a tough fight. It's going to be a tough fight, you know. So that's a fight I can't really predict. But Artur Beterbiev versus Joe Smith Jr., I already know how that goes. You know, that's a beatdown fight. And you don't want to be in front of Artur Beterbiev because this is not no soft puncher, you know. Joe Smith Jr. is going up against Bivol. Bivol's not really the heaviest puncher in the world. You know, he's going up against, he's going up against Marcus Brown. I think he went up against Marcus Brown. You know, he's been up against certain guys, but I even thought the Russian guy beat him. I thought Joe lost that fight. You know, I thought the Russian guy beat him, but they gave Joe the win. So, to be honest with you, he's never gone up against, you know, Beterbiev has gone up against punchers. Okay, he's gone up against a couple punchers. Well, Joe Smith Jr. has not gone up against a fighter like Beterbiev. I'm telling you right now, he ain't ready for Beterbiev. He's just not ready. He's just there's levels to the sport of boxing, and he's not ready for what Beterbiev is going to bring to the table and what Beterbiev is going to do to him. So, you know, I wish him the best of luck, and he's too fucking slow. He's just too slow. He's just way too slow. And then the way how he throws punches, he gonna get so tattooed up, man. He gonna get beat down so bad. You know, it's not about outlasting this dude right now. It's gonna be ugly. It's gonna be ugly. But anyways, what I can say is that he has the opportunity. So go, you know, he's gonna go hard. He's gonna go for the opportunity. He's become world champion. So kudos to him. He defended his title and everything. So kudos to Joe Smith Jr. He's accomplished more than anybody ever even expected him to accomplish. You know what I mean? So kudos to him on that. You know what I mean? If he proves me wrong, well, great. I'll be happy. I mean, you know, the one thing maybe working in his favor is Beterbiev is 37 years old. You know what I mean? He's 37 years old, but he's fresh. He's a fresh 37-year-old because he never really take no serious punishment. You know? So that shit is gonna be ugly, man. I'm telling you, man. I know Beterbiev's mindset is to become undisputed, you know. And there's one guy standing in his way, and I don't know how he's gonna beat that dude. I can't see Beterbiev beating Bivol. That's the one guy I don't think he's gonna beat. But, you know, Beterbiev is a beast. He's a beast. Period. If you don't realize that, and you thinking that Joe Smith Jr. has some kind of chance to beat him, which he does, he has a puncher's chance, like he said. But really, that's no chance because he's gonna lose, and especially if he tries to bang with Beterbiev, he's trying to trade with Beterbiev. That's just the wrongest thing to do, And you have to box Beterbiev. You have to box him. Guys like that, you have to box them. You have to have the tools and the abilities to box guys like that for 12 rounds, control them and box them. And Joe Smith Jr. don't know how to do that, so he's not going to win that fight. That's a gunslinging shootout, and Beterbiev just got too much arsenal for him. Just too much for Joe. Unless Joe can knock out heavyweights and can fight like guys like Anthony Joshua and beat up Anthony Joshua and Usyk, and he could beat up guys like Tyson Fury and Klitschko and them kind of guys. Unless Joe Smith Jr. has that kind of arsenal, he about to get destroyed, because what you don't understand is Beterbiev came down. He came down from that weight class. Okay, that's what y'all don't understand. So he can take a punch. He can do everything. Because he's a much bigger guy, shrunk down into a light heavyweight. Okay, and they've been doing an exceptional job of keeping the strength and everything. So Beterbiev is not just this average dude. This dude is like a heavyweight fighting at light heavyweight. Okay? And a big heavyweight at that. So that's what y'all don't understand. So Joe Smith Jr. actually beating up Beterbiev or stopping him or something like that, it's difficult for me to see. It's just difficult. Beterbiev is the better skilled boxer. He got heavy hands. He's the guy with more knockouts. He's got better defense, and he's got power. I mean, with all of those traits, who do you expect to win? I mean, the guy's hungry. The guy's hungry to win, to succeed, to do better. He's continually growing. Joe Smith is trying to grow as well. But, I mean, you're talking about a guy up here and a guy down here. And this guy's trying to grow, and this guy's growing. And this guy's probably growing at a greater rate than this guy. I mean, this ain't rocket science. I mean, it could happen. I mean, he could be lucky. You never know. It's boxing. Anything could happen. So, if you guys don't know my prediction is Bebo by murder. Y'all don't know that. Right? Styles make fights, and Joe Smith Jr.'s style is the perfect style that Beterbiev. He's custom made for Beterbiev. So don't fool yourself. Don't kid yourself. This ain't no Rocky fucking Balboa show. Okay? This is not no fucking movie. Okay? Taking punches is not fucking cool. Alright? So, and Joe's a tough dude, but tough guys don't win fights. Being tough don't win fights. Like I said, it's not that Beterbiev don't have a chin. It's not that Beterbiev is not strong. It's not that Floyd don't have a chin. It's not that Floyd not strong. It's not that Andre Ward don't have a chin. It's not that Andre Ward not strong. It's not that fucking, these guys have chins and everything, but they're not going to they're not going to put their fucking chin out there and be a tough guy. And then 10, 12, 15 years down the road, they can't even speak properly. Understand? So, if you look at Andre Ward, articulate, intelligent. Floyd, articulate, intelligent. Bernard Hopkins, articulate, intelligent. Does Bernard have a chin? Fuck yes, he has a chin. But he's not going to put his chin to test. He's not going to want people to tap on that chin all the time. You know why? He don't want his brain juggling all over inside his head. He don't want his brain slamming against his skull. And scarring. And inflammation and damage. He's not trying to have organ problems and organ failure later on in his career. And diabetes and all kinds of shit. Because he understands, the fans want to see me get back to bang a guy and take some banging. And they want the excitement. I'm the one that has to live with it after. You understand? The name of the game is to hit and not get hit. And Beterbiev, he's trying to perfect that game. Even though he's not the fastest guy in the world. Okay, at 37 years of age, constantly putting his body through all kinds of 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 of, of training and strengthening, so he can go into the ring and fight as safely as possible. I'm what you need. I just wanted to talk about the mentality because I think that a lot of people today, um, you know, they they assume a lot of things, man. They assume a lot of things about this boxing game, and a lot of them don't know shit about boxing, man. So what you need decided. Let me talk about this. You know, and if you listen to what I've been saying all along, if you listen, this is an hour and 5 minutes. I don't care. You guys can speed up the video. You skip a lot of stuff. But if you do this sport, or if you kind of have insight into the sport after seeing it for so many years, you'll understand what I'm saying. Boxing is not, it never has been about speed and power. I mean, speed does play a role in terms of if you got, quick reflexes or whatever, it could work against a guy who probably is, got the same understanding and skills as you do, but you're able to beat him to the punch, right? So with Inui versus Donaire, for example, right? So speed does play a role in a fight, but see, no matter how much speed you have, or how much power you have, or how much strength you have, you know, those are just tools of many different tools. You know, I don't care how fast you think you are, or how fast you actually are. That shit don't mean shit to me. If I meet a all-around quality boxer who is able to feint you out of position, get you to react to him, slow you down, make you throw less punches because you're missing a lot of punches, time you, and catch you, you might throw a 3-4 punch combination, somewhere in between there, he tag you with a shot. Got your respect. All of a sudden, all of those strengths that you had go out the window. Power don't mean shit if you can't use it. You could be the most powerful fighter. You might even be fundamentally sound. But the style you dealing with smarter than you, and he knew how to diffuse your power. You can't land a single fucking power punch because he knows all your power punches. He knows what you throw. The key to it is if you know what your opponent is known for, what they're good at doing, you're not going to put yourself in a situation where they will be able to do what they like to do. And you dictate when they do what they like to do. And that's it. So it don't really matter if you slow as a fucking slug. Then you control the distance. You make sure you stay at a distance where you can see what they're doing, so that now you can put yourself in a position to time them, and then you can do your thing. Slow as a fucking slug as you are. That's boxing. You see? Anyways, I am tired talking, so I'm gonna get out of here for a minute or so. Do what I gotta do, come back. But I'm what you need. You've been watching my channel. Thank you guys who subscribe to my channel. Those of you who donate to my channel, thank you so very much as well. I appreciate you, as well as those of you who share my videos and post and all of that stuff. Right? I'm gonna catch you guys later on what you need. I got a couple other things I wanna come back with you. My next video is gonna be on the sanctioning bodies and the positives of them, and also some comments that Floyd Mayweather made about them. And we'll get into that in the next video. So just stay tuned. What you need is out. I'm gonna come back in a minute. All right, catch you guys later. Peace.